Hey everyone, welcome back to the deep dive. We're diving into a topic I know a lot of you are really interested in, building a business from something you're truly passionate about.
Yeah, this is something that's definitely close to my heart too. And we got some great material to work with today. This really insightful piece from blogwidow.com that, it gets right to the point and offers a clear roadmap for turning that passion into a real sustainable business.
Right. I mean, it's easy to get caught up in the excitement of follow your dreams, but this piece actually provides a framework for making it happen, which is what we're all about here. It covers everything from identifying your passion to scaling a successful business, and we're going to break it all down for you today.
Yeah,
So first things first, the article starts by emphasizing the importance of, really identifying what you're passionate about. And this goes beyond just, what are your hobbies? This is about deep diving into what truly drives you. And it suggests asking yourself some really thought-provoking questions to get to the core of it.
exactly. And the questions themselves are really powerful because they're so direct. Like the article asks, what activities do you enjoy the most? Okay, think about that. Simple, but it gets you thinking. Then it goes on to, what topics do you always find yourself discussing? Like, what are you naturally drawn to? And then, and this one really hit me, if time and money were no object, how would you spend your days?
Yeah.
It's about uncovering what truly lights you up, without any limitations.
Yeah. I love that. It forces you to imagine a world where, you have complete freedom to pursue what truly matters to you. And I think that's crucial for figuring out what kind of business you might want to build. But then the article makes this really important point, right? You've identified your passion, but you can't just jump in blindly.
Right.
You need to validate it. You have to understand the market you're stepping into.
That's where a lot of people, they stumble. They have this burning passion, but haven't really looked into whether there's actually a demand for what they're offering. So the next crucial step that the article really stresses is conducting thorough market research. It's about making sure your passion actually aligns with a viable market opportunity.
Totally. So let's say, for example, you're super passionate about, I don't know, restoring vintage typewriters.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
You might think it's the coolest thing ever. But are there enough people out there who are also into vintage typewriters? Are they willing to pay for restoration services or, buy restored typewriters? You got to find that out.
And the article breaks down market research into some pretty clear steps.
Hmm.
First, you got to identify your target audience. So in the vintage typewriter example, who are those people? Are they, collectors? Are they writers who want that authentic feel? Are they interior designers looking for a unique piece? You got to define that group.
And then once you know who they are, you got to understand them. What are their needs? What problems are they facing that maybe your passion, your vintage typewriter restoration could solve? Maybe they're struggling to find parts for their typewriters. Maybe they need help with repairs. You have to dig deep and understand their motivations.
Yeah, and the cool thing is, you don't need a huge budget or, hire a fancy market research firm to do this. The article highlights some really accessible online tools that can give you incredible insights. Like Google Trends, you can see how search interest for vintage typewriters, how it's changed over time. Is it growing? Is it a fad? Is it steady? Social media analytics can help you understand who's talking about typewriters online, what are their interests, and then keyword research tools. They show you what terms people are actually searching for online.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can learn just by using these freely available tools. And that's where a lot of those aha moments come from, right? You might uncover a niche you didn't even know existed. Maybe there's a huge demand for vintage typewriter ribbons that you didn't even realize.
Right. That's exactly the kind of valuable insight that can help you refine your initial idea and shape it into a truly viable business.
Okay, so you've identified your passion, you've done the market research, you see a potential audience. Now what? Well, the article is very clear about this. You need a business plan. Now, I know the term business plan can sound a little, I don't know, intimidating, but it's really your roadmap to success.
Exactly. It's not just a formality. It's forcing you to think strategically about your goals, your target market, how you're going to make money, how you're going to reach customers. And the Blog Widow article breaks it down into some really manageable components.
Right. So first, it emphasizes defining your business goals. What do you actually want to achieve? Is it to build $1 million empire? Is it to have a small, sustainable business that allows you to pursue your passion full time? Or is it something else entirely? You got to be clear about your vision.
And then, back to that target market we talked about, you need to really define who those customers are. Are they, high-end collectors? Are they budget-conscious enthusiasts? Where do they hang out online? What are their buying habits? The more you know about them, the better you can tailor your offerings.
Okay, so you know who you want to reach, but how are you actually going to make money? This is where you define your revenue model. Will you sell restored typewriters? Offer repair services, maybe create online courses or ebooks about typewriter maintenance. The article suggests brainstorming different possibilities and, really thinking about what aligns best with your passion and your target market.
Yeah, and it's not just about the income, it's also about your marketing strategy. How are you going to reach those customers? Will you use social media? Will you go to trade shows? Will you advertise online? You need a plan to get the word out.
And then, of course, you got to think about the numbers. Financial projections can be a little scary, but they're essential. You need to estimate your startup costs, your potential income, your expenses. It helps you see the bigger financial picture.
Right. And one thing I really appreciated about the article, it specifically mentions the importance of including a mission statement in your business plan.
Yeah, that's a great point.
This isn't just about, the practicalities. It's about connecting your passion to the value you're offering your customers.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? What impact do you want to have?
And it's also about setting realistic milestones and KPIs, key performance indicators. How will you measure your success? Are you tracking website visits, sales conversions, social media and engagement? You need concrete metrics to track your progress.
Exactly. It keeps you accountable and on track.
Yeah. Okay, so you've got your plan, you're ready to launch, but you can't just hope people find you, right? This is where branding and marketing come in. The article is very clear that for a passion-based business, your brand should be an authentic reflection of who you are. It should embody your values, your vision, and that driving passion that got you started in the first place.
And that authenticity, it really resonates with people, especially in today's world. People can spot a fake a mile away. They want to connect with something real, something genuine. And when your brand reflects that, it's incredibly powerful.
So how do you create that tangible brand identity? The article gives some really practical tips. You need a professional website. That's your online home base. You need a strong social media presence. Choose the platforms where your ideal customers hang out. And content marketing is huge. Showcase your expertise. Share your passion. Think blog posts, videos, podcasts, anything that lets your personality and knowledge shine through.
Yeah, and think about it from your own perspective as a consumer. Don't you gravitate towards brands and creators who genuinely seem excited about what they do, whose passion is contagious? It makes all the difference.
Absolutely. So now people are starting to notice you, they connect with your brand, but how do you actually turn that passion into profit? How do you monetize it? The article goes deep into various monetization models, giving some really diverse examples.
And this is where it gets really interesting, right? It's about finding the right way to generate revenue that aligns with your passion and your business goals.
Yeah.
The article highlights some popular options. You can sell products directly. Maybe it's those restored vintage typewriters, or maybe it's related merchandise like typewriter-themed t-shirts or mugs. You can offer services like repairs, consultations, or even personalized typing lessons. And you can create digital products like those ebooks or courses we talked about.
And there are so many possibilities beyond that, too. The article talks about subscription boxes, membership programs, even generating ad revenue from a popular blog or YouTube channel. The key is to experiment and see what works best for you and your audience.
Yeah, what resonates with your particular niche. And it's about being flexible, too. What works today might not work tomorrow. So you've got to be willing to adapt and, constantly refine your approach.
Okay, so your business is up and running, you're generating revenue. Now it's time to think about growth, about scaling your passion-based business. And the article is very clear that this has to be a strategic process.
It's not just about getting bigger for the sake of it. It's about expanding in a way that's sustainable and, crucially, doesn't compromise the heart of what makes your business special.
Right. It's about maintaining that passion, that authenticity, that connection with your customers. And the article offers some concrete ways to scale effectively. Maybe you hire more people to help you keep up with demand. Maybe you outsource certain tasks, like accounting or website management so you can focus on what you do best. Maybe you expand your product line or service offerings to reach a wider audience.
Yeah, maybe you start offering different tiers of service or launch new product lines that complement your existing ones. It's about being creative and strategic in your approach to growth.
The article ends with a really important reminder, though. Building a business from your passion can be incredibly rewarding, but it takes work, commitment, and smart business practices. Passion provides the fuel, but you need a solid plan and a commitment to keep learning and growing.
Absolutely. Don't underestimate the power of perseverance and the willingness to adapt. Those are the qualities that will really set you apart and help you navigate the inevitable challenges that come with any entrepreneurial journey.
So we've covered a lot of ground today, really digging deep into the insights from blogwidow.com on how to turn your passion into a thriving business. Hopefully you've got some actionable takeaways from this deep dive and feel inspired to take those next steps.
And before we wrap up, I'd like to leave you with a final thought to ponder. We live in an increasingly interconnected world with online platforms and communities constantly evolving. How can you leverage these new opportunities to combine your passion with a well-defined business model in a way that's truly unique? What new niches might emerge from this exciting intersection in the coming years? It's a question worth exploring.
Yeah, it's an exciting time to be an entrepreneur, so go out there, chase those passions, build those businesses, and make those dreams a reality. We'll be here to cheer you on every step of the way. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
See you.
See ya next time.